How's everyone's day going?
Great.
Great.
I'm good.
Fine. Yeah.
Pretty good, yeah.
Normal day?
You?
Yeah, it's good. Normal, one of those normal days. Nothing
Jordan,
exciting.
are you lurking on here? What's going on?
Don't ask questions. I'm just listening.
Oh,
Whatever.
well, I'll go ahead and get into it. It's been really exciting working on this rollout, especially to see like all of the fans' reactions to everything. Dave, I know you had picked out some favorite comments from some people. There's some really good ones. How does it feel to have this like long-awaited comeback tour announcement finally public?
Pretty
It's good.
fantastic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, it's
leading up to it, like having to wait for it and kind of keep things under wraps while selectively mentioning it to people that need to know and being like, yo, you gotta shoosh,
Yeah.
keep it under wraps. But then, yeah, it's a relief.
it's definitely a relief. It feels like yeah, like on Monday before the announcement, like Dickinson or Jordan or someone mentioned like it kind of feels like Christmas. It was just like we've been talking about this for so long and planning it and like we were already, rehearsing for like a week and everyone had been in Seattle, so it was like yeah, it was just awesome to all be together when the announcement happened and just be able to celebrate the fact that we were, in a room together playing music.
So you guys were
Yeah.
all
I,
together. Sorry, you were all together during the announcement? Oh, that's
we
cool.
were, which was really fortunate to be able to share that together. I think as the resident crier of the band, it's been really emotional and just really like just a great release. But yeah, super emotional just to see the response.
Yeah. It's been pretty big.
Yeah, it's like it's weird to
Yeah.
like when you're in it and you're like, then you take a step back and you're able to like gain perspective on like what it meant to like you and other people and be able to kind of like appreciate that when it all like ramps back up again is was it and is and will continue to be like, really heartwarming and, just a wonderful thing to experience together.
Yeah, I think I read someone said this is gonna heal me, and I was like, that's a good.
The,
How
the feeling is mutual.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
how was it getting everyone back together for that first rehearsal? Like, how did the first band practice go?
It was fun. Yeah,
Good.
I mean, it was hard to know what to expect from it and like from like kind of practicing a little bit like personally like my experience like on my own and then going in and being like, okay, how'd I do? Like what am I missing? Like what's, technically and whatnot. And it was pretty awesome. Things came together pretty quickly, like, and a couple times through the songs and it started to feel pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of like muscle memory that comes back. And I think we had all, we all knew which, 11 of the songs that we absolutely needed to rehearse. So that was helpful.
Yeah.
Um, so, yeah, so I mean, yeah, it was great to jump back into it with everybody and, everyone, yeah, I mean, eight rehearsals and like, I don't know, we could go play now if we wanted.
Mhm. At least, those songs.
It felt like about at the same time, it felt like it was years ago and months ago. It was the strangest feeling to where it really didn't feel like that long had passed.
Yeah, like
Well,
stepping right back into it, right?
Well, and literally stepping back into the same rehearsal space that we had like for 12 years or something, right? Like we we got back the same rehearsal space we were in forever, where we'd written so many records and albums and songs and rehearsed so many times. So it was like walking through the same door that we had walked through, 15 years ago.
Yeah,
Very surreal.
Yeah.
that's really cool. Your last show together was in 2018. Did you always suspect a reunion was inevitable, or was there something specific that kind of pulled you all back together?
Definitely wasn't expecting it.
Yeah, not
Yeah.
no real expectations. Certainly thought about it every once in a while, but yeah. But yeah, what pulled it back together was getting an offer from Best Friends Forever, like for the last show, for the first festival, and then it kind of made everybody seriously think about it. Like, what's that look like? What would we have to do? And is it a good idea, or do we wait? Or, um, and so we waited, but it started things off. It kind of kicked off the conversation.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, like for year, uh, Dickinson's excellent at like reissuing the records, which we are all totally grateful about or for. But anytime there's like a minus the bear post where it's like new color variant, like new vinyl for this or whatever. I mean, there's just so many comments about like, come back, we need you, like we want another tour, blah blah blah. So I think we all knew there was like, um, like the band was still had a lot of fans that still wanted to see us play more. So that the interest, we all knew that the interest was there. Um, so yeah, so it just kind of felt like I don't know, it just felt right when they when they came in with an offer and like Jake said, we delayed it a year, and I think that's worked out better just because now we can do this big 20th anniversary for Oso, one of the records that I think is like a highlight of the catalog.
Yeah, absolutely. That did come together really nicely. There's a certain like mystique around these big kind of reunion tours. Fans really romanticize them, but it can be really loaded for some bands. Do you feel that way, or do you like what's your approach kind of going into this tour?
Hmm.
Uh, I mean, speaking personally, having a little bit of that time away, I think allowed us to kind of reset and personally like become more of an adult. And I look at like going into this tour, as more of an adult as opposed to just kind of the kids we were.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, it's like I don't know. Yeah, that sums it up pretty well. It's yeah, it's a trippy experience. Like it hasn't been it's been like years and years, but it just doesn't feel like it's been years and years. And like when you're not doing it, you kind of forget that people care. You're just walking around, getting a coffee, my kids are growing up and whatnot. But then, yeah, now getting back into it, it's like, totally different. We're totally different people, but it didn't feel like it going back into the rehearsal space exactly. So,
Yeah, yeah. Like to Corey's point, there's like a certain like you leave something, you have a chance to appreciate it, and then you can come back, with with like more maturity and like I don't know, sort of like honor it more and like really like see it for what it is, rather than when you're like in it so deep that it's hard to have any perspective on what's actually happening.
Yeah. I bet you never thought, well, maybe you did, in 20 years, like 20 years later, when you were first making the album, that you would be having this big, like, reunion tour with potentially an entirely new crowd that has, like, maybe never a younger crowd or
It's
something.
really special. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really
yeah, for sure.
special.
Cool. Um, yeah, when you think about Menos el Oso, does it feel like a time capsule, or do you feel like the songs kind of reflecting back on them now, like you were saying, just being like maturing throughout life? Do you feel like they're taking on like kind of a new meaning
Hmm. New meaning.
or like a new life, like a new
Like a
season?
lot of the songs on the record we didn't play live aside from the last like, 10
Hmm.
years ago at the like we did a 10-year anniversary tour. So revisiting some of that stuff is kind of it's interesting. I think putting that record together as a whole and like presenting it to the fans who are used to hearing it that way
Hmm.
is like I don't listen to Minus the Bear very much on my own. So like it's interesting to have like the record live come together and try to figure out how to make it like pretty close to what like the fans are used to hearing, you know? So um yeah, it's kind of a trip trying to like um do it justice but not do some kind of total 100%. You know, you got to kind of feel it and make the record, you know, a real live performance and whatnot. Try not to make it like exactly like they expect. But yeah, doing it again has been, yeah, revisiting that material has been, um, it's pretty interesting. It's not exactly the record that I always have in my head, coming back to it and listening to it again and learning it.
Yeah, it's funny, like going through like a lot of the artwork with Brad or whatever and like seeing all these like archive of photos and stuff. It certainly is like for me it has like just a ton of memories of, you know, like the Spain the tour of Spain where we came up with the album title and where, you know, like a lot of the songs and memories like formed the, you know, like the material that's on the record. So yeah, I mean, it's like a total time capsule of like that early Minus the Bear time in my mind where, uh, you know, everything was like carefree and we were discovering all sorts of new stuff, whether it was music or culture or food or like, you know, shows in different countries and all that stuff. So it's, yeah, it was like it's a really cool thing to look back on. And, you know, a minute ago you brought up like a bunch of new fans, you know, like playing it for new fans. And I hadn't even like, whenever I think of reunion, I think of playing for like all the people that were there originally, but it will be really cool to expose like a whole bunch of like new people to the music. So
Absolutely. I guess that kind of piggybacks off one of my other questions is when you were touring Menos el Oso the first time around, were there any moments looking back now that you feel kind of like defined that era of time?
hmm.
Maybe not.
Uh was that like the Velveteen POS Russian Circles tour? Was that on Oso?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I
Man,
mean,
it seems so long ago now.
Yeah.
right.
When you put it into those projections, I think that year, um, there was an initial fall tour. That was These Arms Are Snakes, Headphones, Heather Dewey, some other people. And then the next year, I jumped on and it was, I don't think I even had a residence that year. It was the Thursday tour. It was going down to South by Southwest with Rocky and Appleseed Cast. It was also the Velveteen Russian Circles POS tour. So that was a monumental year. I think we went to Japan that year as well at the beginning of that year.
No,
So
I think wasn't your first show in Japan?
yeah, that was at the beginning in February,
Yeah, yeah.
and
Yeah,
then
your
and
first
then in
show.
March was the South by Southwest. I kind of said it all in reverse, but like, yeah, my first show was in Japan on this record. So
That's cool. Going from Japan to Austin is quite the whiplash.
absolutely,
Um, yeah, Manasoloso kind of marked a more electronic, like loop-driven sound for the band. At that time, did you feel like it was a risky thing to do?
I'll always remember us being at Lang, Robert Lang's studio, mixing the record, and we didn't know what the first song should be. And I think Bob Nana from Braid was there recording some solo stuff, and he heard Game Needed Me, and he was like, "Oh man, that's got to be the first song on the record." And we were all like, "Really?" Like that seems so weird, but it's like because it was so you know, kind of like you just said, like loopy, you know, electronic. Uh, but yeah, I mean, I think we were all confident that people would like it, you know, and we've been playing a lot of those songs live. for quite a while before the record came out. So, we knew that they had energy and enthusiasm when they'd work. Um, but yeah, it was a fun time to be creative and record.
I don't think we were lacking a whole lot of confidence at that time.
Nice, that's good. Uh, does the process of re-entering or revisiting kind of an older album like this one, does it make you want to write new music together?
We haven't discussed it really. It has we've just been diving into this record, and I think it's nice to be able to approach it without any of the expectations and just the sort of, as Dave said earlier, just being deep in it and just being a part of this snowball that was rolling and maybe would never stop. It's been fun to approach it on our own terms. So far we're just getting into performing this record.
Let us get in the bus first and do it too.
Do you have any like favorite road snacks when you're on tour?
Oh man.
Yeah, so many.
Yeah.
I
Like,
haven't thought about like those bus snacks that are just always there. Um, yeah, what did we I mean, there's definitely tortilla chips. I'm not sure if it's my favorite or just like some mindless kind of consumption of triangular
I mean, there's always
cornmeal.
there's always Sabra hummus.
Oh, there's always
Oh,
hummus.
Ready for exciting new flavors of Sabra hummus.
We're gonna have to up our. It's gonna make it adult food, this time. We're
Oh,
gonna have
dude,
to find a way to make eggs on the bus. Is
there's so
there
much.
is there like a portable way to make eggs?
Well, I mean, you could at least have like hard-boiled eggs,
Yeah, you can boil them. You
I'm
can rock
I'm looking
eggs in a
forward.
microwave.
I'm looking forward to regional delicacies.
Right.
oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
heck yeah.
any place in particular?
I mean, wherever they've got a thing. Give me a Detroit Coney dog. Give me a Buffalo hot wing, or like that kind of stuff. So
Yeah,
Yeah.
whatever Cincinnati has. Do they have the
they
chili?
got that
What's
weird chili shit.
We're
Yeah.
not playing Cincinnati, dude.
Chili on the bus sounds rough.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, none of it's good on the bus though, to be quite frank,
To
especially
be fair.
Frank's. Yeah.
Cool. Well, that's all the questions I really have. Is there anything else you guys want to share with the fans before I let you go?
Oh man.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for remembering what we're doing, like what we did, and being excited for what we might do in the future and will do.
Cool. Well, thank you guys so much. Have a good day or evening, wherever your time zones have you.
Thanks,
Right on.
Danielle.
Thanks,
Thanks so
Danielle.
much.
Bye.
Will do.